Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm so happy that you're here. If this is your first time stopping by, I'm Karen. You're at the loft, and that makes you wicked smart. So, some of you know that I am also a substitute teacher in my local elementary schools, and I spend a lot of time in the second and third grade level at my favorite school right down the street from my house. Shout out to the Krista McAuliffe Elementary. Miss you guys. Can't wait to see you. So I have made these props for them. They're going to go in their classroom so all the kids can take pictures with them and they can capture their first day of school. So let's get right into these easy DIYs. The first one is a jumbo pencil and a jumbo piece of writing paper. Okay, you're going to run to the Dollar Tree. You're going to get yourself one of these foam boards. And this is so easy. You guys can whip together so fast. I'm going to first mark off 6 inches on one end and then every 4 inches after that. And I'm going to do that up and down both sides. And then I'm going to take my level. If you have a yardstick, that would work just as well. And I'm going to connect the dots with a blue marker. And I'm going to go over that a couple of times, widening it and darkening that up. And I'm going to do that all the way down, all the way to the end. I'm going to then take a red marker after I mark off, I think it was 6 inches from the left side. So the wider margin is the top, the header of the paper. I'm going to turn it on its side and I'm going to mark off 6 inches from the left, and then I'm going to go up and down and make a nice wide line with my red marker. Easy peasy. And then that's it for this. It'll be blank for whatever message you want to write on it. At the time, I didn't really know what I was going to say. I went back and forth with a couple of things. So for now, I just left it blank. But this is your your canvas for whatever jumbo message that you want to leave with your kids, whatever it might be. And I have seen some creators, this is all over TikTok, and I have seen some creators cut out 3 holes in the margin, 3 circles, take something, trace it around. But this stuff is hard enough to cut a straight line with, and I didn't want to be bothered with, having to cut out a nice circle. Okay, so now we're going to make the jumbo pencil. Okay, obviously, you're going to take your pool noodle and cut it in half. You're going to need some yellow poster board. Okay, now this is my saw that was my dad's, and I could get a little bit choked up thinking about his hands being on this for many years. You can see it's worn. The blade is very wobbly, but it gets the job done, especially for these little styrofoam balls that you get at the Dollar Tree, and we're going to cut that in half. Now, this cone on the end is just a little bit wider than the pool noodle. So I'm going to cut down 2 inches off of this Dollar Tree styrofoam cone. And I'm going to show you a trick. This particular foam, I'm sorry, not this foam, the ball. When I cut the styrofoam ball in half, it was a little bit wider than the pool noodle. And I will show you that I'm going to draw a ring around it right in the center of the styrofoam ball. I'm going to trace a ring around it. And without cutting it, I'm going to shrink this ball. Now, this doesn't work with all kinds of styrofoam. It doesn't work with the kind of styrofoam that the cone is made out of. This is the really dense, compact stuff. So if you roll it and put a lot of pressure on it and keep rolling it around, you're going to shrink that without having to use a knife to cut it. Okay? And also, it works out even awesome because you get kind of like a straight edge on it. You can see there, I'm down to the line that I drew. Now this gives it that more realistic look of an eraser, you know, the straight edge coming up and then it's kind of rounded towards the top. So I'm just going to lay down a bunch of glue, not so much that it melts into the styrofoam, but a good amount. And you have to hold it for quite a while for it to cool down so it doesn't, so it doesn't separate on you. So I'm trying to do the same kind of method with this styrofoam cone, which is not the same. This stuff is made from like the little pellets that are kind of like compressed together and they shred like crazy when you try and cut them. So I'm going to mix up some light brown and some darker, well, I should say light tan and darker tan. It's not really brown. And I'm going to paint this cone to give it like a wood look. I'm going to get it nice and base coated with this lighter color. And then I'm going to take the darker color and put it on in streaks. And then I'll go back over that and I'll blend all of that in. It doesn't show up too well right here when it's wet, but you'll see in the reveal after it dries, it looks like a little bit of a wood grain. And that's just a glue stick that I stuck in there to make it easy for me to paint. It's what I had on hand and I couldn't get to my little dowels. So, you know, sometimes you just got to use what you got. See, there you go. So now I'm going to glue the pencil end on. Same thing, going to use a generous amount. Hold that on there till it cools down. And you could probably leave it like this and just paint the little tip black. But I wanted to have a pointy tip to my pencil. So I took out my black craft foam and I cut out a square. I think it was probably about, 4 by 4. And I cut it on an angle, corner to corner, to make like a cone shape piece. I'm going to wrap around that, and you'll see that how I do that in a few minutes. But right now I'm just measuring my finished pencil so I know how big to cut my poster board. And I forget the exact measurements, but I think it was like 8 inches wide by 26 inches long, I think. And after I cut this out, you will see that I also draw another line at the bottom about an inch up from the bottom. And I use that as my guide because I'm going to cut notches into it to make it look like zigzag, like the pencil has been sharpened. Just a little extra detail. You don't have to do that. You could totally leave it straight if you didn't want to cut it. But, you know, it's just a little extra detail that makes it look extra cute. And you can see I'm doing that right here. I'm finding out where the middle is so that I have a nice full point on the middle of the pencil. And the seam will be on the opposite side. So I got, you could use whatever method you want. Tacky glue, hot glue, although I didn't want it to be lumpy and bumpy. This peel and stick tape, you guys, is like industrial strength. It was a little bit difficult to work with. It wanted to stick to everything, and you'll see later on that it pulled up some of the paper because I dropped it, and when I lifted it up, it pulled the paper up. But anyways, I got it all measured, and I got it on there, and this stuff is so sticky, but it gives it a really nice finished edge on the backside. So you get that all laid down, peel that back. I'm going to lay my pencil onto it, get it positioned exactly where I want it, get the side closest to me, press down firmly. Believe me, you don't have to press down too firmly. This stuff sticks to everything. And I'm just going to roll it with even tension as to trying not to wrinkle the poster board so much. So you'll see that I get that on there nice and tight. It looks really good. Now you could spray paint that too, but I wanted to write on my pencil. So I like this finish better. It's easier to write on. So I have this pink electrical tape, and I'm going to start in the middle of this little half ball, and I'm going to cut pieces side to side, and I'm going to slowly work my way out to each side. And when I get to the edge where it starts to curve, you'll see that I'm going to just snip a couple of little notches in the tape so that when I press it down, it doesn't get all wrinkly. It gives it a much smoother finish. And then I take that one little last piece just to finish that up. And then I'm going to do the other side. And when I get that all done, I'm going to take the tape, take it to the top to cover up all those edges, seal all those in. I'm going to go over that part a couple of times, and then I'm going to start to slowly overlap, and I'm going to come down about 2 inches from the top to make the eraser. This stuff worked awesome, and it was the perfect eraser color, pink. It was perfect how it worked out. So, all right, so I get that done. And then what do I do next? Do I go on to the little point? I think I do. I think this is where this is where I take that black craft foam and I cut it and I kind of manipulate it a little bit into a cone shape. This is how also the shape that I use when I cut out the fabric for my gnome hats when I make my gnomes at Christmas time. So I'm going to roll that up. I'm going to glue it down. I'm going to mess with it a little bit as far as the measurement. And then I'm just going to glue it onto the end of the pencil. And I like it because it's not flimsy. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure it won't crush on me. Some of the people on TikTok were using cardstock and they were stuffing it with tinfoil so that the point would keep its shape. So there you go. There's my cute little point. Doesn't that look so cute with the zigzaggy edge? I think it makes a big difference. So now I'm going to work on finishing the last detail of this pencil at the top, where the eraser is. And I've taken this tinfoil, and it's from Dollar Tree, and it's flimsy, so I've rolled it over a couple of times so I have a nice finished edge on each side. It's about 2 inches wide at the end. And I cut these pieces of the Dollar Tree jute covered wire. And I'm going to glue those onto the cardstock about an inch or so apart from each other. And then I'm going to load it up with some glue, and then I'm going to lay the tin foil into it. And I took a little time. I had to be careful because it was flimsy and I didn't want to rip it. But once I got it on there pretty good, and I just kind of rubbed it with my fingers so you could see the ridges, just to make it look, a little bit more realistic, like that little metal part at the top of the eraser. And then that's it for the pencil. And like I said, this is going into my favorite classrooms. So this one is going to say, this one is for the 2nd grade classrooms. I already did one off camera for the 3rd grade classrooms. So you'll see me do that. I do that all by hand. I'm going to sketch it out. I'm going to sketch out a really light pencil line just to use for a guide. And I'm just going to do a print. Going to take my time. It was very challenging trying to do straight letters on a curved surface. So I sped it up a little bit. but I did. I took my time, and I wanted it to come out as straight as possible. So I'm just gonna let this play out while you listen to the music and watch how I finish off this super cute pencil. Okay, this next prop is reversible. It is the jumbo Polaroid picture frame. So you're going to start off with a foam board again. I did not show you how to cut this. It makes a mess. I will tell you, you're going to want to take a fingernail file or maybe some sandpaper and sand down those edges after you cut it, okay? So I cut out these shapes out of my foam, my craft foam. Now you can use anything, you could use many different things to embellish these and for any occasion. Birthdays, sweet 16, graduation, wedding showers. So cute. You just cut out a square in the middle with a wider bottom, a wider section at the bottom, and decorate it however you want. I'm going to make the background of this look like lined writing paper with the little dashes in between, for the little kids, so they can learn to write. They're struggling. And I'm going to use my foam, craft foam pieces to embellish, right? You can use stickers. You could use so many things, right? So as I'm creating this, I know that I want to make it reversible. I know that I want this front side to be for the first day of school, and then the back side for the last day of school, right? We like to keep track. They do change, right? They seem like they're not with us for very long, but when you look at pictures side by side from the first day of school to the last day of school, big changes are made, right? So I find the middle of this board and I'm just doing some printing by hand, starting at the center and working my way out to say, welcome back. And here I use these stickers from the Dollar Tree to put up the ABCs on those little book, the, the spine of those books. And I cut out a 2 because this one's going to the second grade classes. And then you'll see me just kind of figure out the placement of these things, where I want to put them. And I go back and forth a little bit, and I'm sorry that it's off camera. A lot of this is off camera because this thing is big and it was hard to film. But I'm also keeping in mind when I'm placing these things around the frame that when I flip it over to the other side, I don't want those items to show. So I'm also trying to think of what things I can cut out in a similar shape to put on the back side of this. So it took a little bit of me figuring that out. So once I did, I just glued everything in place. Then I finish off the message at the bottom, and this side of this little frame, or I should say jumbo frame, is done. Okay, so now you see the back side of the ruler and the apple, and a little bit of those books are hanging out, and I'm trying to figure out some shapes to cover that up. So this is going to be a more of a summary background, and I wasn't sure if I could paint this without the paper getting all bubbly, so I worked really quick with not a whole lot of paint on my brush with these two light blues, just kind of, stippling them together. And that worked out pretty good. But you could you could buy poster board, and you could cut the poster board out to cover up the top half of this if you wanted a background color and you didn't want to paint it. What else could you do? Maybe you could use, I don't know, tissue paper, wrapping paper, whatever you have. But I really liked this blue color, and I was really thinking beachy vibes. The last day of school, kids are thinking about the summer vacation. So I painted the bottom half to look like sand, and I used some of that dark brown to kind of stipple that in a little bit. And I don't know where the rest of the film went of me doing that, but you can see these are the shapes that I decided to recreate to match up with the shapes on the front. A little beach ball, a popsicle, and what was the other thing? Oh, the shovel and the starfish, right? So I used white craft foam, and then I just used my markers to paint them in the colors that I wanted or that I didn't have any of the foam in, the craft foam in. So now I'm just going to do some more handwriting. At the top of this one, it's going to say, have a great summer. And at the bottom, it's going to say, peace out, second grade. So the little ones are going to be able to take their picture. They're on the first day of school. They'll take their picture again on the last day of school. And you'll be able to see how much they've grown in 180 days, right? So I know some of you are already back in school, but here in New England, we have a few more weeks to hold on to, and we do it. We hold on tight here in New England to our summer. But yeah, there's no reason why you can't walk into any Dollar Tree right now and get a Poole noodle and some poster board, some foam board, and some styrofoam shapes and get these done, last minute. They were super fun to do, and I cannot wait for the kids to see them and to see all their little faces inside when they take their pictures. How cute is she with her little sunglasses giving the peace sign? And that's it for these DIYs, you guys. I hope you give it a try. And if you're still enjoying summer, hang on to those memories until the very last end. And as always, you guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I so appreciate your time. And to all my teacher friends out there, enjoy the rest of your summer break. I can't wait to see you all. And I hope that if you like today's video and you know somebody that would enjoy it, that you sprinkle it about and do me a favor and show me the love by hitting all those buttons and doing all those YouTube-y things. So that's it, you guys. Until the next one, enjoy the rest of your summer and have a great first day of school.